Hello and welcome back to the Workbench. This is a series of videos where we discuss ceiling fan history, trivia, and technical information. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about Moss Manufacturing and David Moss. There are a few notes I wanted to include that I either wasn't able to last time or have learned since then. So let's get into it. First thing I wanted to mention, and I know I've mentioned this in a lot of videos, but I don't think I've ever talked about it specific to Moss. One of the things I thought was really interesting was that the companies that were importing fans in the 70s into the US, so it's mostly Moss and Encon, and a few others as well. Anytime you see brass parts on imported fans from the 70s, those parts were actually made here because overseas didn't have brass plating, and they also didn't have the capability to make wood blades, which is why like Encon got their wood blades from Thailand, and then even though they got the motors from India, and then the brass was here, made in the US. So if you think about any Moss fans from the up until 79, and through 79 really, if they have brass parts, those brass parts were actually made here in the US. 1980 was the big year for getting wood blades and brass parts made overseas. I thought that was interesting. Okay, next note. We've talked about all of the ways that David Moss screwed over the factories, and I guess the biggest one was apparently Wingtat. He screwed them over for over $1 million in the early 80s. I don't have the exact figure or the exact year, but it was over $1 million. Right around 1980, early 80s. Another thing he did was he started his own importing company, DMZ Offshore Services, so they could act as their own broker and pay themselves a fee to import fans. Because again, you can't just go over there and bring them back without having to deal with customs and without having to deal with a bunch of stuff. So he created his own import company so he could make money both ways. And there's some lawsuits involving DMZ Offshore Services. If you ever want to look those up, you can go look up the case law. Speaking of which, there's a lawsuit between CEC and Moss in the mid 80s, and it's all about import export. It's very much down to the minutia. But the thing I found was interesting is that Moss ordered just around 1,200 ceiling fans from CEC for around 40 grand. So I did the math, and it works out to about $35 a fan. So that's what Moss was paying for fans in the mid-80s from the factory. Okay, if you saw my Emperor video, you know that the Marco Polo was introduced in 1980 along with the Heirloom and basically all the Moss fans that had housings. Those showed up 80, and then 85 was the last year of those under the Moss name because that's when the trademark wars started, and now they show up under other names. The Caribbean Breeze was 78 to 83, and the last couple years of the Caribbean Breeze had wood blades, like the 4 wood-bladed version. I always thought those were maybe sold concurrently, but it turns out it was metal, and then the last couple years were wood blades. And so if you did see them concurrently, it was probably overstock. It's interesting, and I don't know the exact detail, but we talk about how Moss was technically founded in 75, and they started importing fans around 77. From the looks of it, 77, they were the exclusive supplier to Lindsay Lumber. I don't mean that Lindsay Lumber didn't sell their brands. I meant that that's all Moss did. They were exclusive to Lindsay Lumber in 77. So that first year with the Singapore-made Caribbean Breeze, we know that was a Lindsay Lumber exclusive, but it appears that all their fans in 77 were Lindsay Lumber exclusives. Because I can't find evidence of them being sold anywhere else in 77. And then 78 is when they started with Home Depot and everybody else, and they became, this huge supplier for everybody. Okay, the last note I have that I thought was interesting is that Wingtat actually holds the patent for the Moss heater fan. Moss did not file that patent. Wingtat did, which was interesting, which is why then Ritz was later able to make and sell the same fan with Wingtat after Wingtat no longer wanted to deal with David Moss. So, okay, those are the follow-up Moss notes that I have. Again, if I find out anything else, I'll do another update. But for now, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you have learned something. I know I have. Please like, comment, subscribe, and ring all the notification bells. Thanks for watching.